Hey guys, welcome to this special video about my dear friend and coach, Coach K. Tonight is a very special night. It's the last home game for Coach K, and we happen to be playing our biggest rivals, UNC. I will be at the game. Can't wait for tonight. Jayson, our head of production, has compiled an amazing video for you guys, just showing different Coach K stories, different Coach K mentions over the last year or so. Obviously, everybody knows this. Besides my father, I don't think there's any person that has had a bigger impact on my life than Coach. He'll always be my coach, but he is my dear friend. I love Duke, and I love him, and I'm excited for his retirement, but I'm excited to see this Duke team make one more run. So check out this video.
Coach and I used to watch tape. This was the other thing. Like, Coach was the first coach that I had that embraced me shooting threes in transition. Like, no, everybody does that now. Nobody was doing that back then, but Peja was. And so he would because Coach watches NBA every night. He would watch a Kings game like late night, get the video from the night before, and then show me. And I think, and you talked a little bit about how I maybe should have shot more, but my confidence as a shooter and as a player, a lot of that comes from having played for you. And I think that you do that with a lot of your great players, is that you give them full empowerment. You give them full ownership of the bus or the ship, whatever you want to call it. And by going through the fire with you on that, it gave me all the confidence in the world. So for me to take a terrible shot with a minute to go, I still do that. I still am going to try to put a team away.
Well, along with that, I've had a chance to coach more great players than anyone because of being at Duke with so many, but also the 11 years of coaching the U.S. And like in college especially, great players have to be able to follow their instincts. And you can put them in positions, but if you don't put them in a box, let them go. And the single easiest time for you to get a shot was before the defense got there. Whether we had a numerical advantage or not, it didn't matter. You were going to hit about 50% of your shots. And so in transition, take it, man. And your teammates should know that. And in the chaos of transition, if it was a long rebound, you probably have a 50-50 chance of getting the rebound. So it's like a free shot. For my whole career too, we're the ones who started that on an offensive board, you kick it out. And I always told you guys, that's my shot. That's a free shot. You have to take, I don't care who it is, you have to take the shot on an offensive rebound kick out.
We'd watch film on that all the time.
Yeah.
Where like you'd show us missed opportunities and you'd show guys who didn't shoot, or you'd show the rebounder get the ball and be like, look, there's the guy that's open. That's the shot right there. Right. Now everybody does it. And it's hard.
But it's fun. It's kind of like, you're up in New York, and I'm sure when Broadway was going on, you go like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's like me being like a producer or a director, and you have that singer or dancer, like, go for it, man. We can play the music and we can surround you with good people, but there's something you will do in that moment that nobody can teach you.
You mentioned getting kicked out of the locker room, so I want clarity on this story because this is something that has happened a few times since I left. Did he kick you out of the locker room and then take all your stuff out of your locker, put it in a pile in the middle of the locker room, and then when you came for practice the next day, you had to wear non-Duke issued, usually they go to Walmart and get practice uniforms from Walmart. Is that what happened to you too?
More or less. Coach K had back surgery in like January of my freshman year. So I think he missed like 6 or 7 games, and Jeff Capel was the coach at the time. And we lost to North Carolina State at home. They had Dennis Smith Jr., but they were terrible. We lose at home, and I remember after the game, coach or one of the assistants sent out a mass text and was like, everybody come to Coach K house right now. So after the game, we all go to his house and we walk in and he got like 3 rows of 5 chairs, 15 chairs. And he sits in the front, we all sit down, and he literally goes down the line and tells all of us about ourselves. And he basically told me that, I should just leave, commit for the draft now. Like, I don't want to be here. All you care about is the NBA. Like, he was just going down the line. And we all leave and we get another text and it was like, be at the locker room at 6:00 in the morning. So I'm like, damn, like we're gonna have to run. We get to the locker room and there's 2 trash bags at all of our locker. And the assistant coach was like, take everything out your locker. Like, don't leave anything. So I got 2 trash bags. I'm walking in my car. I put them in my trunk. We got practice at 1:45 and we try to go to the locker room and there's a code. And the code has been changed. So essentially we're locked out the locker room and we go practice and there's a pile of white t-shirts and these navy blue shorts. And we damn near played football for 2.5 hours, diving on the floor, hitting each other. We couldn't use our showers. We had to shower back at our room. And the freshmen had to wash all the t-shirts and shorts for like the next 3 days.
There's some PTSD there. I specifically think of my sophomore year, and I hit a low point. I was in a fishbowl at Duke. I was not prepared as an 18 and 19-year-old to deal with the pressure of playing at Duke, to deal with the responsibility of playing at Duke, to deal with the animosity that came my way from opposing teams' fan bases. I just wasn't prepared, and I went south. I went into a dark place, and if it wasn't for Coach K, I would have never came out of that place. And he challenged me. More importantly, he forgave me. He forgave me as a 19-year-old for being a knucklehead. And he gave me essentially a second chance. I'm forever grateful for that. And I wouldn't be the player or the person I am today if it wasn't for Coach K and specifically that moment in time.
That entire sophomore year for me, and I've told parts of this, but in December I had my sisters come meet me on campus, and I really was thinking hard about quitting because the pressure and all of the hate that was coming my way, it didn't feel like it was worth it. And you and I talked, I guess, in February after a Valparaiso game. It was the first time that you I think it was maybe the first time that you had noticed that something was amiss.
Right.
Do you remember anything from that winter of my sophomore year? And kind of when did you notice that I wasn't all there?
Well, I don't remember a lot from it. What I remember about your sophomore year was one of the critical years in your life because you learned the price that you had to pay to be that successful and what it took to be on the stage. You weren't old enough or have experience enough to handle it like you do now, or that as a man, and there really wasn't enough people. There weren't people. It's not like your family knew, or anybody. It's hard. Like most people don't know, and I didn't know you were going through it. But then, once we knew about it, we as a program tried to help you with it, and we're then. Isn't it amazing? Then after all that, it's something you embraced.
It became my life.
Yeah,
it became my life. Yeah,
but you embraced it, and that's the thing. It's the same thing. It's similar to what we talked about with your pro career. There's I call them bridges. They're bridges that people have to cross in order to fulfill their potential. What their talent and motivation can do for them. And it's one of the great things that I've loved about college is I've been able to cross a lot of bridges with guys. You had a bridge in your pro career that was a tough one, but you had a coach in the pros that was tough. But he was tough. He was tough because he believed in you, not because he didn't believe in you. And then you came to the place where you crossed bridges. And I don't know if you've ever thought about it that way, but sometimes coming back home or coming to a place where you had achieved not just not just hit shots, but you crossed a bridge. You crossed something that was tough, and you surrounded yourself. You usually don't cross a bridge alone. And so you got Will, you got a whole bunch of people, and you did it. During your sophomore year, it was so damn new, and it wears on you. Also, you're a kid.
I was 19.
Yeah, you're a kid.
19.
You want to have fun. You want to do
Yeah.
You want to.
I wanted to be a frat kid. Sometimes.
Yeah, you want to. Yeah. So all of that stuff is there.
Are you in Schwartz Butters right now? Are you in your office in Schwartz Butters right now?
I'm in my conference room. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So May 21st, 2004 was probably the most important day of my basketball career. And that's when Wojo and Collins tracked me down.
Right.
I was staying in an off-campus apartment. I wasn't enrolled in summer school. I was just kind of chilling. I told my parents I was finishing up an incomplete because my grades were so bad. And I think I maybe had told you guys that I was at my parents in Virginia. And Wojo and Collins tracked me down because Shavlik Randolph is a snitch. And he said he saw me at this one apartment. But they dragged me up to your office, and we sat there, and we had a very emotional meeting. But you talk about like being surrounded by love and to a degree like forgiveness. Like I don't even think looking back, like I didn't think I deserved a second chance at the time. And for you to give me that second chance and to say, no, we're going to help you make it right. We're going to put you on this program. We're going to put you on this schedule. We're going to surround you with all of the resources you need. You want somebody to talk to, we'll give you somebody to talk to. You want help with nutrition, we're going to give you help with the nutrition. It was life-changing. That day was life-changing.
Well, and then we tracked you every second of the day.
Yes.
But when something is happening to a person, a lot of times that person feels it only happens to him or her. And it's never happened to you. You feel guilty, you feel ashamed, and you're a little bit bewildered, or a lot bewildered. And the thing is, the people in the room with you, I mean, I've gone through that. I know it's hard to believe, but I was 19 at one time. I was, I was messed up at different times. Wojo and Chris, and so it wasn't like we didn't know that can happen. It didn't happen to the level that it was happening to you because of how good you were. There was a bigger spotlight, and part of the problem you had was you needed to get away from the spotlight and be a guy, be a kid. And that spotlight was there all the time. Like, how the hell do I get rid of this? And we had to spend the time with you to show you how you can lead a life being in that spotlight. And you learned that. That's why I'm saying you embraced it. And Wojo and Chris did an amazing job. It's one of those things as an assistant coach in the fine print and additional duties as assigned by the head coach.
I was down. I took my kids. It was their first game. I got two boys, 7 and 5, and it was their first Duke game. And we were sitting right behind the bench. Where they put the former players. Mm-hmm. We were sitting right behind the bench. And there was a timeout, second half, and I could see it. I mean, the body language was bad on the court, and everybody runs back. You sit down and you wait for coach. So coach meets with Shire and Chris Carrawell and Nolan, and he comes back to the huddle, and all he says is he looks at each kid, and he says, "I hate your fucking faces." He's like, "Your fucking faces suck." And then he walks away. That was the timeout. And I thought to myself, man, how many times did that happen? Some similar version of that.
He's big on body language, face, like if you're on the bench and he's watching film or something happens on the game and you don't like cheer loud enough, like he will point that out in film. If we're in practice and you walk from one station to the other, like he shows that in film the next day. Like he is big on, body language and posture and all those things.
When we were starting to build a culture at USA Basketball, and Chauncey Billups, and Jayson Kidd were added to add veteran leadership to LeBron and Carmelo, and those guys who were great guys. And so we're getting ready to to get ready for Beijing, and so I'm with my staff in Vegas a couple days before the team comes in, and all of a sudden there's a knock on the door. It's 2 days early, and it's Kobe. He said, "Coach, can I talk to you for a minute?" And I said, "Certainly." So we went to a private room, and I said, "What do you need?" He said, I need to ask you a favor." And I said, "Yeah, what is it?" And he said, "I want to guard the best perimeter player on every team that we play." Now, he's the NBA scoring champ. He's the best player in the league at that time. He had 7 50-point games that year. And he knew that he would have to change a little bit and be a leader. But he says, I want to guard the best perimeter player. And then he pauses, and his eyes. He and Jordan had the same eyes. They killed you with their eyes. And he leans forward and he said, "Coach, I promise you I'll destroy him." So I got, holy shit. I said, "This is good." So we go and we have a team meeting. In the first practice, he doesn't take a shot. He does not take one shot. And he's playing defense. And so I call him over afterwards. I said, "Yo, this destroy thing." He says, "Coach, I promised you I'll destroy him." I said, "Look, I've seen you destroy teams offensively. Will you shoot the frickin' ball?" And he smiled, he had that smile. And he said from then on, I was the only coach ever to ask him to shoot. And you know what he was doing, JJ? He had this vision of moments. He knew that for us to win the gold medal, we would have to beat Argentina, whether it be in a semis or the gold medal game, and that he wanted to guard Ginobili. Believe me, he already had that figured out, and he was going to prepare to guard Ginobili. It wasn't just to set an example for his team. He had that vision. Crazy. So we do play Argentina in the semis, and we're beating them by 20 points, and Ginobili gets hurt. So now you think we're going to win by 40. And it becomes a 6-point game because now he's not interested anymore. That's who he is. That's who he was. God bless him. And I love the guy. And he and LeBron developed a relationship that was needed to create the culture. And they did. I'm so proud of LeBron for doing that. And obviously I was very proud of Kobe for doing it.
My other favorite Coach K story is, and this will get to sort of my second point about Coach. After my fourth year, Chelsea and I got married on June 26th, which was a Saturday. It was also the first day of the Duke basketball camp for kids. Coach is always, a regular at camp. He watches the games. He interacts with the parents. He sets up a signing station, and all the kids come and sign, get an autograph that day. He went to camp that day, took a PJ down to Palm Beach, booked a room at the hotel, changed into a suit, came to the wedding, came to the reception, stayed late, ordered his own wine because he didn't like the cheap wine that I had ordered for the wedding, danced with all the grandmas, got back on the PJ and was at camp the next morning. That was the moment for me when
Coach will always be coach to me, but that was the moment for me when Coach became my friend.
Coach, we appreciate the time greatly. This has been a lot of fun. It's always good to catch up with you. I'm looking forward to being able to see you in person and have some wine with you.
Yeah, you're a wine guy. Yeah. Well, I want to say, with all the wine, I haven't gotten any. I'm more of a California cab guy, Sauvignon Blanc, Oregon.
I like Oregon. Oregon's great.
You're you got all the French and Spanish. And, yeah, you've come a long way from the mountains in Roanoke. I'll tell you that. Where they didn't even have cork. They didn't even have cork.
Coach is trying to portray me